Hi, my name is Katie Gray, and I'm going to talk a little bit about myself and building finances. So, to start off, I absolutely love my cat Zoe. She is about 5 years old. We adopted her about 5 years ago. She's a calico. Um, my hobbies are running, puzzles, and water sports. I got engaged at the end of June 2020, and our wedding is September 18th of this year. And we just bought our first house in May, and the outside does look absolutely beautiful, and it is, but the inside was very outdated. And with the market being the way it was in May, in order to get a house and not overbuy or overspend, it smelled like cigarette smoke. So we had to spend a lot of time getting that smell out, and it's finally gone. And then we're remodeling it. It's been a lot of fun, and we've learned a lot. So between that and the wedding, we've been very busy the last couple of months. I grew up in Connecticut. I moved to Kansas and went to Bishop Miege High School. I graduated with my undergrad in secondary education and history from Pittsburgh State University, and I'm currently getting my master's, obviously, at Fort Hays State University. I started out as a office secretary for a middle school in Fremont, Nebraska. We spent a year living in Omaha. So I commuted to Fremont and worked there. And then I got my first teaching job at Mill Creek Middle School in the DeSoto School District as a 7th grade Pathways teacher. Pathways is a core class, just like science, social studies, math, English, but it is a life skills, career applications type of course. Then, based on student body numbers, I was moved to 8th grade to teach Pathways for my second year, and I did that for 1 year. And then the following year, this year, I was the 7th grade social studies teacher. And then I get to do that again next year and hopefully for many years to come. So I'm done moving around, which is really nice, but at least I got to stay at Mill Creek. I coach Mill Creek Middle School's cheer squad and I'm their pep club sponsor. This will be my 3rd year doing that. I am a member of the district's innovation team. We went to 1-to-1 for the first time last year, so not this past school year, but the one before, which was really great timing with COVID because our first year, all of the students having their own devices, we went remote, which was very lucky. But our innovation team, we just get together, different teachers teach different subjects throughout the district, get together and we brainstorm ways to use technology in the classroom and then teach it to our building. And then I'm the assistant Mill Creek Middle School cross country coach, and that'll be the first year I'm doing that. Public school funding comes from different sources. 8% is federal, and the rest come from other sources like state and local. It is difficult for states to predict how much it will cost to educate each student. So administrators need to budget for different types of required services. Fundraising is a great way to get community support. A principal's role is keeping accounts and making sure teachers' salaries are aligning. It's the principal's responsibility to account for school revenue. This should be done with the help of a professional accountant. The school board is responsible for legal, disciplinary, curriculum, school renovations, and community relations. So anything that affects the entire district financially would be at the school board level. And then for individual schools, that would be with the principal level. $3,000 to $11,000 is allocated per student. This kind of goes along where it's really hard to predict how much money each student is going to need, and that's just a really large gap for students. Extremely large gap. Principals should have a large role in school budgets. All of the resources talked about how principals should have a larger role. In schools' budgets, they're at the school daily. They can truly see what is in need. Principals need to establish a budget procedure as well as regularly reviewing and revising their budget to reduce the potential for errors. And principals need to know how to interpret those income statements and different type of budgeting sources or websites because they're not going to be able to keep their budget correctly if they do not know how to interpret those. I don't know a whole lot about current school principals' budget involvement. It's just not something that is discussed a lot, not for any particular reason. It's just we have so many things that we need to discuss as a team that finances kind of takes a back seat with discussing it with the principal. But my principal will ask teachers if there's any resources they would like to request the district to buy, or for the school to buy, and he'll do his best to get us that. He's bought us Fan School for next year, which is a geography tool that we use. My principal has the secretary keep the budget, so the bookkeeping, just help him with that because it's a big responsibility, a big job. Any finance request needs to be approved by the principal and signed off by the secretary, as well as extra duty forms and substitute requests, because that all goes into finances. We work with our AD for athletic needs. Some of this is at the district level, some of it is at the school level, so he works with her and the secretary to make sure that each athletic department is getting a chance to buy things that their athletes need. Each year it kind of focuses on a different sport, but we have the option every year. And I've never heard of him setting financial goals for the year. I was on BLT last year and we never talked about financial goals or what we were planning on using our finances for. But that was the only year I was on BLT, and it was also a really crazy year to be on BLT. We focused a lot on COVID and school procedures with COVID and different learning modules, and not a whole lot on anything else. So just because he didn't talk about it last year with BLT doesn't mean that he doesn't. Other years, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But they're there. I'm just not sure what they are. Concerns, personal concerns as a future school administrator with budgeting, forgetting to include something in the budget, going over budget, or not having enough money to get the basics of what my students require, not understanding the accounting tools for the school, calculating something incorrectly, and just simply messing something up. I'm a very big believer that mistakes are great learning tools, and that's how you learn your best, is when you make mistakes, but messing up a budget is just a little daunting to think about. That is all. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your